this is Danny. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. I'm here to speak about and review Married at First Sight, Season 10, Episode 8. I know I'm a little late. Yesterday was my birthday, and so I went out, had some dinner with my family, so I had a good time. And but I definitely watched episode 8 on Wednesday, so definitely want to go over that and see what y'all thought about it. Basically, I mean, it was an okay episode. They had I'll start off with the group where they all met up. The guys met up, and then the girls met up. So the guys met up. Everybody was there at first except for Brandon. They were just kind of chit-chatting about what has been happening since the honeymoon. It was Zach, was kind of talking, and Derek kind of brought up, I just kind of zone out whenever he's talking. Because he just kind of just talks in circles. I mean, I kind of understand him if you have to listen very closely. But if you do, you kind of get what he's trying to say. But you shouldn't take that hard to kind of understand what someone's saying. It's not that easy. It's not that difficult to kind of get straight to the point. He wants to go around the mulberry bush, pretty much. But anyway, they all just, talk about a little bit what's going on. Brandon finally shows up. I guess he had to work, and he makes it there. And he's, of course, since he's like the most, since they hadn't seen him since the travel back from Panama, when after he cussed them out. He kind of let them know, yeah, it's a little rocky. I'm in a doghouse. I'm sleeping in the other bedroom, but we're trying to work it out. We're trying to, get it together. So, that was that. And the group, the women's group, they all met up, and Jessica talks a little bit about, he does make a little less than I do, but, I think he'll be okay. And, Katie's, kind of saying, a little bit stagnant a little bit right now, so we'll see how it works. It was, hot and heavy in the beginning, but that kind of died down. Mika says, we work it out. We're living in the same house. We're even sleeping in the same bed, and so that's a good thing. They're on the road to making it better, so that's all good. And that was their little get-together outings. So I'll talk about the couples now. The first couple I'll talk about is Jessica and Austin. Jessica and Austin, you see them, Jessica gets home. She had worked a really long shift, maybe like 14 hours, I think. And I forget what she even does. It looks like she had some type of scrubs on, so I'm not positive. I can't remember what she does. But Austin had made her dinner, so she was very surprised and happy about that. She said, she's not used to coming home and having dinner ready, so that was something that was a plus, being that she was single before. And, he said he made spaghetti and quinoa. And what he actually made was spaghetti with marinara sauce with some quinoa. I think a vegetable, not very traditional, but I mean, it's a meal, and hey, she didn't have to make it. She kind of said something like, well, it's edible. She could have gave him a little bit more positive feedback on that, but I mean, I guess that's just how they joke. They kind of gotta have like a little sarcasm. So, some couples are like that, so that's cool. but she was, all in all, she ate, and then they kind of had like a little back and forth about who was going to unload the dishwasher. She was like, I hate to unload the dishwasher. And I'm like, shoot, I will unload if you're going to put it all in there or wash the dishes. I'll put it away. I'll do that. But then again, I do everything in my house, so if any task can be taken away, that would be wonderful. So, that was that with them. Later on, you see them, they have their friends over, and they have beer pong in the living room, and that was, I guess there's, something that they came together on. And then you see them break away with the guys in one room, and the girls go sit in the other room. Most of them are her friends, but I think his sister that's there with them also. And Jessica is kind of like, hey, give me the lowdown on Austin. What's going on with him? You're the one that's closest to him. And she says, or his sister says, no, he's, what you see is what you get. He's a very good person. You're going to get, you've gotten a good person. So of course your sister's going to have your back. Why wouldn't she? But yeah, that was, and I believe that. I think that he's really a genuine person. So Jessica lucked up. I mean, she's blessed on that. So that was cool. But that was Jessica and Austin. That's pretty much them. They're pretty much very good so far. And I think, they are probably going to be the one that makes it. Okay, so the next couple I'll talk about is Mika and Michael. And Mika and Michael, you see them, they're kind of talking, and he's trying to put a picture of them up. They had gotten a picture printed off, and they decide to put it in a frame, so that was cute for their new apartment. Mika brings up, I think it's a good idea that we talk about this ring situation, because he didn't have his ring on, and kind of ask him, what should we do? Should we put these rings on, or, and they decided to put their rings back on. So that was cool. I probably would have waited a little longer to see where his mind is at. He's the one that suggested or said it, so I mean, I don't know. That's what I would have did. Then they had a housewarming party with their family, his family and her family, and you see them, they're playing like a trivia game. So that was cool. They, seemed to have a good time with each other, and they, kind of interacted very well as a family. We see Michael sit with Mika's mom alone, and kind of Michael's just like, what can I do to make Mika happy? Let me know, give me some feedback. And she's, you're doing well, and she's just kind of sitting there, and she's a little bit half dressed than what I would think that a mom should be, but I guess that's her style. But she seems to be giving a good feedback to Michael that they should be they're on the right path. So I think he got his stamp of approval, at least as of now. So yeah, that's pretty much all that happened with them. But that was Mika and Michael. So the next couple I'll talk about is Derek and Katie. We see Katie meet up with her mom at a restaurant, and they're talking, and they, kind of have a conversation. Katie's kind of worried about, their, future and how it's going to really pan out, and, it's kind of stagnant, and, kind of giving her mom the feedback of what she's been thinking. And her mom's like, well, you gotta give it some time. You can't just think of it this way, and, give it, take it one day at a time, and it'll grow. And Katie's like, listen, she said something real smart to her mom that just wasn't taken well. I just didn't like it. I can't even give you the exact, but I think I zoned out like, what? But it was more so, okay, that's how you did it back in the day because you was pregnant and you took what you could get. But it's more so, it's different now, and I don't have to, take what I can get. And it was just not cool to say to your mom. So, mom was just trying to help you out, but you don't want to listen. You think you know everything, little girl. So we see Derek, and he's talking with his dad, and he's a real cool guy, his dad, and he's kind of letting him know, it's kind of getting a little basic, and dad's like, well, you probably rushed into, the physical first, probably need to slow that down, and now you got to learn her, and, he's like, well, I don't think I can just fall in love in 6 months, it's probably going to take me a year or whatever. And dad's like, you gotta, you gotta let it flow. You gotta let it grow. You can't just, you don't know until you get to know each other. So I think dad gave him a good advice. These kids, they don't want to listen to their parents. They think that they know it all, or they have these feelings. Meanwhile, the older folks have gone through it way before us. So they definitely need to start listening. But yeah, they seem to be, kind of working on things. I think that they just need some time to get to know each other. But that's pretty much Katie and Derek. The next couple I'll talk about is Zach and Mindy. And Zach and Mindy, they meet up at a park, and they are, Zach has his dog, and they're kind of, I don't know, they're just weird. That he didn't move into the house, and so she's kind of asking, what are we doing? What are we gonna do? You're my husband. He's kind of like, I'm gonna build a friendship. She's like, but we're married. This is not a friendship. This is a marriage. So, it's a little bit, I don't know. She's trying to get through to him, and he's just like, I'm going to take it at the pace I want to take it. So take it or leave it. We see them. They meet up with her friends at a little bar. They're playing like that huge Jenga thing. I guess that's a thing now. Everybody has these big Jenga things in their bars. They have a good time. They seem to have a good time. But you see Mindy's friend, she's kind of in a little, they take her outside. She's talking by herself, like a little confessional. And she's just like, I don't believe him. I don't trust him. Whatever, I think he's just giving us a bunch of bull, basically, like telling her what she wants to hear, making her feel like, oh, I'm doing a little something, she was letting it out. I like her. She was not believing anything. She looked at him like, okay. They leave the bar and they go to the back to the apartment, and they're having drinks, and Mindy's like, well, I kind of invited him over, so we'll see if he comes, which he did. He showed up, and she was all excited, and she went on. And he brought a bottle of wine, and she was like, well, I bought you some box wine. I know you like box wine. And it was real awkward. I mean, this is your husband, and you're kind of like I mean, of course you're going to be uncomfortable because you just met, but you're really uncomfortable because she's not even living with you. And so the friends start to go in on him, I'm sorry. And Mindy kind of saves him a little bit, like, okay, guys, this is my husband, and we're not going to just turn this into a Zach bashing day or whatever. So she kind of saves him, but he didn't really have any good answers. And the friends were like, okay, but we're watching you, basically. So, yeah, that was, I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. I mean, they are just, I don't know. I mean, we have seen couples that didn't mesh well in the beginning. We've seen couples that haven't meshed well in the beginning, and still make it. So it's not impossible, but this is definitely a slow move. So we shall see about Mr. Zach and Mindy. So the last couple I'll talk about is Brandon and Taylor. Brandon and Taylor, we see Taylor, and she's sitting with her friends, and she giving them the low down. She like, girl, let me tell you what this man did on our honeymoon. And the friends are like, what? Are you serious? I mean, she tells them from, how he reacted when she tried to do a diary cam on him, when he woke up and jumped up like he did, to how he cussed everybody out, from the camera people to her and all the other couples and everything. And they were just, are you serious? So, and in most cases, I would say you don't tell your friends everything. But in this case, you don't know this man. And people need to know, in case you're alone with him and, something happens. You have to let people know. So, I don't blame her. She needed to tell somebody. But, of course, it's being documented. But still, the cameras go away. So, we see them. They, later on, they have a party for her aunt at their apartment. See them at the apartment with Taylor has her friends over first before her family gets there. And they're in the bedroom, and Taylor kind of whispers to them, look, don't go hard on him. Bring it up, get the point across, and move on. I mean, I don't blame her. I think that it's a good thing that she does want it to get addressed. I think that the type of person I think that Brandon is, or at least appears to be, I've seen enough of him in my life to kind of understand that, if you don't make sure he knows that you have a family or people behind you, then he's going to think that he can just do whatever. I mean, what happens when those cameras go? I mean, he needs to know that, listen, somebody got your back, somebody's watching, and that's basically what happened. They all sat down whenever the party got started. They were all having a good time, but then it does come to the point where they address Brandon, and the friends start in like, was it a good time? Didn't some things happen? And Brandon's like, I did apologize. Yes, some things happened, and I don't feel good about them, but we're trying to move past that. And the friends are like, okay, well, that's understandable, but we wanted you to know that, this is not acceptable. You're not supposed to treat my friend like this. And, we got her back, basically. And, they kind of really questioned him. And Brandon was kind of pushed into the corner. And then his aunt, who was there, kind of saved him a little bit. Well, not saved him, but had his back, which is, normal. I think it was all needed, though. I think everything, it was done in a very productive and respectful way. So I think that it would definitely needed to happen, though. It needed to be said. But to me, Brandon just didn't receive it. He acted like he received it during the party, but later on we see him and when they're alone, and Brandon is just kind of shut down. He's just like, whatever you want, whatever you need, whatever you want to do, that's what we'll do. And Taylor's like, no, that's not what I want. I want you to have feedback, and I want you to talk to me about what you want also. And it was just, I just didn't like it. They was just not, their communication, and he's a piece of work. I don't even know. I don't even want to, he's something else. He has a couple other words. But anyway, that was Brandon and Taylor. But yeah, this episode was definitely telling of, they're new, and it's so fast, and it shows how this is just such a thrown together relationship, and you're married, but you still have to deal with all this basic new stuff, and that's an experiment. If that's not an experiment, I don't know what is. This is just not a normal thing that people have to deal with. So that was episode 8. But thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed my review. Please join me next week for episode 9, season 10 of Married at First Sight. Please like and share and comment and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it if you subscribe. You enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.